Hello, it's me, Dancho, and we are back with another Jujutsu Kaisen chapter discussion. And we're on chapter 107. And today's chapter, we got issue cover on the Jump. We got a colored chapter cover with Nobito and Dagon. Yes, we now have, I'm sorry, Dagon, right? Dagon. We now have the squid's actual name, Dagon, which was brought to my attention by Richie. And if you pay any attention to my YouTube videos and you see my #1 commenter on my page, it is Richie. And Richie brought it to me in the Jujutsu Kaisen chat. And if you were interested in joining that, please contact me on Twitter. But he brought that up in the chat that Dagon is actually a fish god and also originally was a god of fertility, which is really interesting and goes perfectly with Squid's lore. So that's fucking awesome. But yeah, we got that awesome cover, and then we got another, like, what was it? Was that like a chapter cover, I believe? Because if we got an issue cover on the actual issue, and then we got two chapter, isn't that technically two chapter covers? Because we got the big old thing, and then we got the first page colored, so maybe first page colored, then we got the actual landscape chapter cover that had all of the characters cast basically that's currently occupying the arc in it. And it was like, I love Akutami's art style going on with that. It was really awesome. It was really fun, really bright, and it was just really cool to see how some people's uniforms had the red tint, some people's uniforms had that blue tint. It just was really well done. I really appreciate everything Akutami had to do with that. And then we got this amazing 3v1 with Nobito, Nanami, and Maki versus Dagon, the Squid Curse. And we just got, we also got the Jujutsu Kaisen new promo high quality promo art for the anime. Duh, Doncho. We got that too. So like we're really eating. It's really been a serious feast for Jujutsu Kaisen fans this week. But before I get into the concept of chapter, y'all know how it goes. Intro. Okay, so Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 107. You know, I always have my pause in the beginning, thinking about where I really want to start, because, you know, I don't really like to script these videos out. I like to go right into them, usually with my first impressions, and if I can't get into it with the first impression, I may think over it for a little bit, then come at you guys with something. But I'm trying to make these as first impression as I can, because I don't want to think about it too much, especially after days going through, and then the day before the chapter comes out, I get a video out to you guys. I mean, it doesn't feel the same. So I'm trying to start getting these things out to you guys ASAP, so that we have a whole week of looking over both my videos and everyone discussing things of that nature. But aside from that, what I really want to start with is how awesome Nobito is. And I just love that Nobito seems to be holding up this Supreme Grade 1 title. He seems to be handling it very well. He seems to be like, Akutami's showing us what it means to have this title. Akutami's definitely showing us this flex, and I'm really enjoying it. His ability, I don't have a grasp on yet personally. I see people talking about the whole controlling frames, and that's why he can move so fast. People can't see him. I also seen one other person mention that maybe he's like cutting frames and stuff, which is why he would mention something like, well, they didn't mention this part, but I'm going to add on to that by saying he probably would mention the unrefined piece, what he's talking about. Nowadays, all it is 4K and 60 FPS, when all of this just unrefined, you know, and it really, I feel like that's a huge allegory, not only applying to actual, like this whole 40K FPS sensation that a lot of media has with video games and videos and camera and stuff like that, but also just the refinement of your curse technique, refinement of your cursed ability, refinement of your curse energy usage, stuff like that. I feel like those are the themes that Akutami is reaching for when he's showing Nobito's dialogue like that. And in the midst of that dialogue, we have Dagon, who is checking Nobito. Like, Nobito goes, "Hey, cursed spirit," and Dagon's like,
No, my name's not Cursed Spirit. I am Dagon, Hanami, Jogo, Mihito. We have names.
and it's like, it's such a powerful moment, and it pulls me right back to the Chimera Ant arc and the personification of the Chimera Ants, where they are these monsters, but they're still human to a degree. They still have that human part of them. And the curses take that to a whole other degree, to a whole different example, where they're talking, where Dagon is just wanting Nobito and cursed probably sorcerers in general to understand that we're people, to understand that we're feelings, that we have things, that we exist, that we have a consciousness, that we are beings, right? And it goes back to Mahito talking to Junpei and saying how there are curses born from the sea and born from the forest and born from the earth. And he's talking about Jogo and Jogo, Hanami, and Dagon. Now we know it's Dagon. And so it makes me start to think about what exactly were those fears or the hate or those emotions that necessarily created Dagon. And I would love to get some type of origin quick flashback of where Hanami necessarily came from and his point of origin, and where Jogo necessarily came from and his point of origin, and where Dagon came from and his point of origin. I think that'll be a really, really cool thing to see and a cool aspect to touch on, considering how a lot of times that's where we're fighting these curses. We're fighting these curses at their points of origin, you know? So it'd be really interesting to see how that happens, and also us getting pretty much confirmed that Dagon is probably the strong. No, I'm not going to say the strongest, because I think a lot of things with curse techniques is how they're used, just how with Nen abilities. But Nanami pointing out that Dagon has almost this boundless HP, like how they're doing damage to him, but they don't feel like they're actually taking away health. They don't feel like they're doing substantial damage, right? And that's huge, because these fights for Jujutsu sorcerers, they never seem drawn out. They never seem like they're gonna go on for, you know, an hour, 2 hours. These always feel like 10 to 15 minute max fights. I may even be highballing. They may even be faster than that, maybe 5-8 minute fights, you know? But they never really feel like, you know what I'm saying, like these super long drawn out fights. They always seem much faster than that. So that is a really huge thing to me. And just his ability in itself, when he has that water shield that that Nobito was talking about, that circles around them, and like he's able to create different things from the water, and that he probably has other techniques that he can use that Nobito points out. So Nobito goes, oh, so the best thing to do is just to stop you before you can do anything, and then starts just blitzing him. So like it's crazy. And before we even get into this huge blitz, we have to look at how when they start out trying to fight him straight up and squad up against him, Maki is in an entire disadvantage. That, if you see my last video, whoa, I was wrong. I didn't say she was going to be a major factor in the fight, but I said, oh, she'd probably be able to hold her weight, and she may even be a big factor in the arc itself. But I might be entirely wrong. Maki says herself that in an attack where she tried to hit him and Dagon grabbed the blade, she said herself,
like, oh, if the geezer
Nobito
didn't do his ability right there, I'd be dead.
She didn't say injured. She didn't say hurt. She didn't say out the fight. She said dead. I've been killed, you know? And that right there has me like, okay, stakes are there. You know, clearly clearly Dagon is going for kills. She felt it. She felt that death was on the way to her. You know what I'm saying? But I love how she goes, how humiliating. Because it makes her feel like, wow, just 2 seconds ago I was telling these fools that I wasn't going to dip out and I was going to stay in this mix. And then he pops up and I'm staying in the mix and I almost got off. So I'm really slowing everything down. You get what I'm saying? And knowing Maki's character, I know that don't sit well with her. Just know it don't sit well with her at all. And so with that being said, I'm ready for where Akutami is going with these characters, and I still haven't seen any Maki slander on the TL yet. But y'all was attacking the Bara left and right. I'm not even gonna get into that. Okay, so, but, oh, I want to go on a rant, but I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm gonna focus. So, with that being said, also Nobito says straight up like, oh, okay, 2 grade 1 sorcerers are at you, and you know, you're handling this. What a turbulent time we're in. That gets me so excited for the future. I want these curses to get stronger, and I want these sorcerers to get stronger, and I want stuff to proceed, stuff to increase, stuff to go. I'm really, really, really excited for that. But now we get into the real gut of it, where Nobito, like I said before, he says, okay, we need to just blitz him. We can't let him get anything off, so they blitz him, and they go at it. Nanami and Maki are pretty much not doing anything once that happens. Once they do that blitz attack and they all attack him at once, right? He does Dagon does his like little, I guess he does like some burst move where he makes the water burst out and like push them off of him, you know? It felt like a shield almost, and like pushes them off of him, and then they jump off, and then he jumps in the air, you know, to levitate to get them off of him. But like Nobito shows up behind him, and it was such a phenomenal panel to see where he just goes, "Oh, you can levitate. I would have went in the air too." And then just smacks his ass out the fucking air. Then he bounces, and then when he bounces, Nobito's right there on the ground like, "Hi!" Boom, beating him, just start rocking his shit. And as he's sitting there rocking him, Dragon's sitting there thinking like, he's like, "Oh my god, I'm trying to get technique off, but I can't do shit because of this guy. It's all this guy's fault." Like, you know. But then what I absolutely love, it was so reminiscent of of Gojo versus Toji to me. And even Mahito versus Nanami. And Nobito has him on the ground, stomp, cracking the head, cracks the wall crack, and then Dagon just laying there. He's looking above him. And then
Domain expansion.
And then beach. Phenomenal. And what makes that so awesome is it just reminds me of that moment of despair where, like, you know, people, these curses and these Jujutsu sorcerers can't even talk. These Jujutsu sorcerers, they have to be so intertwined with their emotions, but the negative ones. They have to be so in tune with fear of death specifically, and anger and stuff like that. And that focus that I just could feel that focus from Dagon. And when he says domain expansion, and we get to see that just a half angle, not the full beach, but that half angle beach view of that domain that we saw way back when we got that first introduction of Mahito. And so that has me really excited. And I've seen some people talking about how this it's different than the one we saw before. I don't think it's different at all. I think it's the same thing. It's just this one is now going to be used in an offensive or defensive matter, while before I think the Squid was able just to create that domain itself, but it's a very calm domain. But it probably gets worse as you're like going deeper into the domain, just like the sea or like the abyss. You know, we don't know what the bottom of the ocean is like. Stuff like that could easily lead to it. And even we saw him swimming in the water, so it makes me wonder, is he going to still be swimming in the water when we see him? Is he going to turn into some giant kraken or something, like go full Davy Jones on us, you know, inside the water, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean flow, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It really has me wondering. This chapter was very quick, but it was so action-packed. It was so full, and I just love Akutami's creativity when it comes to fights. The paneling, the way Akutami has an Albedo able to snag Dagon into the frames, and then Nanami coming and hitting him out the frames, but it's still not doing as much damage as it's like they wanted to do. I just love stuff like that. I love where Akutami is headed with Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm loving what this arc is giving us, and I'm hoping that we get more with Dagon in terms of like personification, because so far he's been like my favorite. I really like Mahito, but I'm really loving, maybe my recency bias is coming out, but I really have been loving how Dagon has been handled so far in this sequence right now by Akutami. So yeah, it makes me so excited. It really gets me going. I'm so happy, and we have the anime news on top of it, so you know, it's just been a really, really good time for Jujutsu Kaisen fans. So once again, you guys, thank you so much for coming by and checking out this discussion video. This one wasn't as long as our usual ones because it was so straightforward. It was so action-packed, and I don't have a lot to discuss theory-wise and ability-wise because I don't personally have enough information on Nobito's ability for me to really give you guys my theories, and I don't want to go on a rant about other people's theories and how I feel about them when I can't even come up on my own, you know? So, you know, it's exciting because we're getting little bits and pieces of information. So when I'm getting ready for these next chapters, it really just has me, you know, ready and roaring to go to discuss with you guys. So like I said, thank you guys for coming by to Doncho's Hideout. If you like this video, please hit that like button. down at the bottom. I appreciate that. If you ever subscribed already, I don't know why you haven't, but hit that subscribe button, and it is this bell icon that's right next to it. You should hit that too, because, you know, when I drop, you should know, you know. When the videos come, I would appreciate it if you knew first. If you were the first person to know, I would appreciate that. So, once again, guys, it's Doncho. Thank you so much for coming by for another discussion.